Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena and today I'm working in my inspiration board glue book, which is nothing but just a glue book where I use some pattern papers to kind of embellish up some of the tips and tricks that I grab here and there from, you know, inspiration from books, people, YouTubers, whatnot. And I recently did a live stream where I was working with trying to understand and grasp what's behind all the composition elements and how can I learn and subtract stuff from it to use in my drawings. I already received my first thumbs down, so I think that I forgot to, you know, take the bucket of disclaimer and pour it out on my glue books, telling people that this is not a tutorial, this is not like real facts or anything, this is what I subtracted from different people and books and stuff. So no, I am not a teacher. I never went to any kind of art school, or I basically don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a human sitting with a pile of scrapbook paper trying to understand how to use composition lines to make my page spread more interesting to look at. And because I was working with dividing page into thirds and using diagonal lines, I think that I would like to attempt trying to make yet another page spread. Like this was the one I made on my recent live stream, where I worked with diagonal lines in where to place elements, how to use the line as to make the posture of the ballerina, and also how to incorporate that space of white that supposedly is going to give you some calm. So I'm just gonna flip the page to a new spread, and this time I'm thinking that I would attack it a little bit more differently. I was thinking, why not try and sketch in the lines before I attempt to work on it? What happens when you do that kind of approach? That's what's going through my mind today. So let's get started. The line work that I'm going to work with today is the diagonal lines once more, and then I'm going to incorporate the circular composition. Not the like one big, but a circular composition. So I'm going to put in a circle somewhere on this page and try and work with that. So how does that sound? In case you were wondering what the heck was the circular composition, let me flip back to my notes here. This is a circular composition where you got like a triangle shape, and then you place your circle in what some may call the golden section, and that's supposed to where your focal point is going to be. There is another circular composition here where you have every action going on inside the circles, and then you got like dead spaces in the edges of the circle. And here we got a circle within a circle to help you divide the use of your colors. Yeah, so and then actually you could imagine like you could put a detail inside the inner circle and go more blurry on the other side of the circle. I don't know. And the thing is, I am a learning by doing monkey, so I need to do these page spreads, learn from my mistakes, and just by making the pages, I'm attempting to try and understand more about composition. So it's somewhat like learning by doing, you know. So that was the bucket of disclaimer. don't don't take this as a how to do it, like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. But okay, I got my diagonal lines worked in. So now I'm thinking to give myself a third, measure the page and see the page is 60. Okay, 60 centimeters, which means that for every, it's not true, is it really? No, it's 48 centimeters. That's the thing about ruler. Let's see. What if I do that with 16? This ruler shows every centimeter, and this one is like 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So already there I got confused about the rulers. 16, 32. So my basic thought is to start getting some lines in, and the difference in this approach compared to the approach I had when I was streaming is that now I'm putting in the line before I come in with all the pattern paper. So let's see what kind of difference that make. I think I should take and divide the page in third on the horizontal way also. And let's see, how long is this? 34, 11, 22. Whether I'm going to use all these lines, I actually don't know. But I do know that I want to try and place my elements on my page so it sort of lines up with some of these meeting points that this grid gives me. If I had measured it out completely correct, then you can see that this line here would come across the square here. So already now I can see that it's a little bit wonky, but it's okay. I'm thinking I could make like a train station where I could have the light coming from here and shining in. So I could have like the station area where you can stand right here. Maybe this could be to give me more distance. I could divide this size. Jeg står 18, 50, 15. I could divide this one too into thirds and see what I get. Just be like completely anal, I know. Oh man. I just want to see what I get. I could, because you see, I could have like a train station And then I could have some sort of a waiting area or something blocking the view. Yeah, I think I would work with that. Okay, let's see. Now I want to find some pattern paper. And because I already know that the light is going to come from this direction here, I can go really like textured and blurry with my pattern paper on this side here. And the light would hit above here, but not maybe up here. So I can find some pattern papers that got like less texture down here and then some clutter up here. And since I don't really care how my trains are going to be matted, I can actually for fun mat them with pattern paper. So let me just dig into my pile of scraps and see what I can find. Okay, I pulled out some of the scrapbook paper. I think this could be like an interesting texture for the floor ground of the train station. And maybe I could pull out some of the texture of these two for one of the trains. That could be fun, right? And then the opposite train could have textures from this sheet right here. This could be a part of the ceiling. And then I got these ones if I need bright colors. So let me try and tear these pieces up and see if I can collage them in. So far my plan is that I got a train here, I got a train here. This is the area where you sit, and then this is like an elevator, or I don't know, a kiosk or a waiting hall, just something on the train station. And this up here could be the beginning of the arch of the roof. So you kind of imagine that you got room up here to have those giant windows where the light is coming in. But because in my imagination it's like a tall building, so the structure makes it possible to have light coming in, casted from way up, so that this angle right here would be in dark, not so much light. So yeah, let's see if I can puzzle it out. And this is the fun part, right? To puzzle out the collage pieces. So yeah. Okay, so already now, before I even started to making the collage pieces, I realized that the lines are helping me a ton. I can, look how easy it is. I can line it up with the ground floor, right? And then I can take a ruler, and then if you had repositional tape, you could actually tape the sheet down to your work surface so that it wouldn't move. But I can actually place my ruler, just aligning it up with the line work, and start tearing off. Here I definitely would do like this to make it easier for myself. Oops. It doesn't matter if it's like totally perfect, because I can cut off with my scissors and stuff. But can you see how easy it is to when I need to tear off papers for this train that's coming here, I can do the exact same. I can line it up with the line work and start tearing off my pieces. So yeah, already now I can see, oh, that's a fancy tool. I like it. Okay, just another thing that I discovered. You know how I'm just, placing the paper down using the grid lines to rip off the pieces that I don't need? That was kind of easy, right? Now comes the other advantage. When I had to put down the glue, I can do it directly on the paper because I got the lines. I know exactly where my glue is going. I just think it's so easy to work like this. I can imagine how fast I can build up the collage pieces that I need for this. Yeah, we're gonna call it a drawing because it's going to be like a mixed media collage drawing when I'm finished. But I can just picture how fast this approach already is, because I don't need to fiddle without eyeballing how to rip my collage pieces, and then I don't need to fiddle when gluing them down, because I can follow the marker lines on my paper, and then I can actually also really use the corners, because it's so easy to line things up. So all in all, yeah, I really have to say that so far I like this way of working. This approach is super fast and likable. Could you picture if I had to tear out just this element that I'm gluing in right now? How annoyed I would be if I had to start with one sheet and then had to calculate where to rip it. Especially if I ripped it with my fingers, I wouldn't have these like really pointy corners that suddenly just turns out to be quite useful. And I know I'm doing it the fast way, but it's because this is like a practice work drawing sketch, because I wanna just get my hands dirty with this technique and learn it, see if it's something that is worth spending time on in the future. And so now I just need to trim off the edge. Look how fast that was. It's amazing. Okay, so let me just burnish this down to the paper and trim off the edge. Okay, so I kind of got some of the pages or page matted in. I got a vantage point right there that I'm gonna take advantage of. Let's flip back in my book and look up the page I made about perspective. This is also a train station where you got a vantage point right there, so it was easy for me to put in some ruler line work to how the train is going to disappear out into the horizon. But since I'm working with a much smaller piece of the train station, like this piece right here, and not like the whole train station, I hope that my line work is still somewhat usable. So what I'm going to use them for is first to make some sort of pattern for the floor, and I was thinking about taking a gray ink tint, yeah, and then try putting in some line work for the floor. So it gave me the motivation to work as much as I can with my background before I come in on top of it with the actual drawing that I'm hopefully going to put in some sort of a circle. Yeah, I haven't got any plan right now for that, but hopefully it will just come to me what the heck that we're going to put in that circle. I'm thinking about to avoid having to paint some sort of a bench or a place where a person could sit. I would have a person to sit on a suitcase waiting for the train. So in that way I would avoid having to sketch a bench with the right proportions that are now slanted because of the perspective. So now I got some line work here. Then I also have some sort of division between the train cars, right? And I'm thinking about, instead of making a whole row of cars, I could have like 3 train cars to show, because 3 is like a nice number to work with, and because I don't want it to be like a mirror image of this, I'm just gonna work with the lines that's already on the pattern paper to give me the separation of where the train cars is going to be. So in that way it's not totally a mirror image of the opposite side. So far I think that I now have the guts to cover up the rest. I'm not sure which lines that I need to continue on this drawing, but luckily I got myself recorded, so I can go back and see where they ended and started, right? So let me cover up the rest here and find something that would simulate some sort of the end of a train station cafe, or I don't know, like a confection store or a waiting area, something for this. Okay, so I managed to puzzle this together like, I don't know, a building. And then lucky me, the pattern paper comes with an illustration of a clock. I think I will try and cut it out and then place it maybe on top of here, and then I can cut out some of the illustration of this bird cage and use the iron bars as, I don't know, some sort of a gate or something. But initially I'm thinking this could be like an elevator, right? Would it be strange to have an elevator in the middle of a train station? Yes, it would. So I would prefer if this could be converted into a confection store, a small, I don't know if you've seen on old train stations, there sometimes is a tiny coffee shop where you can buy a little treat for your train ride. So let me try and puzzle that in. So, yup. Okay, so I managed to somehow mount the clock on top of my confection store, and then I'm thinking the thing that makes a train station is that it got like these monitors showing the arrival and departures of trains. So why not try and cut out these drawers and use those as the monitors? I can cover this up. So that's what I'm puzzling with now. Okay, so but before mounting these monitors, I worked a little bit more on the train itself, because that's going to be in the background of some of these monitors. So since it's like an electric train, I just think that it should have some sort of mechanical device up here on the roof of the train car to connect to some electric wires that's going to fuel the train with some engine. And then in Denmark we have this yellow line on our train stations, kind of to indicate that if you cross this line and is standing so close to the edge of the train station, you might get, I don't know, sucked out if a non-stopping train is passing through with high speed or something. I don't know why those yellow lines are there, but they have been there for a while, so let's also put them into our little sketch here. But so far, I think this is like really fast. It's been like effortless to cover up and dress up this page spread in collage pieces. Usually I think it's a very tedious job to measure out how big your pieces are going to be and then cut them so they fit into, you know, puzzle sizes and puzzle pieces. But because I could use the grid lines for the cutting and the gluing, I think this went just so fast, you know. So far I'm in a very positive state, thinking that this was kind of easy to do. Okay, the train cars is divided, and I have no intention of going into super detail with this, because we have to remember that all in all it's basically a practice drawing in a tool sketchbook, you could call it. So it's not like it's not going to be like a wall piece when it's done. So I'm just gonna wet up some of the line work that I did with the ink tints and activate the pigment so it becomes a little bit fuzzy and blurry and not like hot streaky lines. I'm still working on the train cars. You see, they need like doors and windows, and I know the way to put them in would be to take your ruler, make sure you got a 90-degree angle from the bottom, and then sketch them in. But it just seems like a total tedious to figure out the, you know, the, what's it called, the placement, you know, where to place them. I know I got a vantage point right there, so if I was clever, I would use that vantage point to give me the right angles for at least the windows, right? But then I'm also thinking that maybe it would be best to put in the doors first, because then I know not to place a window right there. Okay, each car needs a door somehow in the center. Normally I think it would be in the center of the train car, and it's like a double door, so it has to be a little bit wide. And of course it has to follow the perspective line. So if I think that this is a suitable height of a door on a train car, maybe all the way up here actually, I can place my ruler in the cross section we got here and then sketch out the slant for each door. So far so good, right? So now I can already see that this line here is kind of wonky. So maybe I should try to raise it just a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't worry about indicating that it's double doors. Maybe I could just go straight in with dark color and cover it up. It just have to be like the illusion of an entrance, right? Okay, this door is going to give me a little bit of issues because it needs to be more detailed. So let's just wait a little bit with that door that's going to be right smack in your face. Okay, first the height of a normal door. On the pattern paper I got a line right here that I can take advantage of, and we agreed on about here, right? So let me get that into the cross, and then sketch in the doors. This is where it's so cool that I only have, I'm just gonna put this book down a little bit so I can really get this ruler placed correctly. This is where it's kind of cool that I have this asymmetric stems of trains, because one side will have 3 doors and the other side of the train station, the train will only have 2 doors. So it's gonna give us a little bit different view. It's gonna work out nice. Okay, now I got the door in place. Now for the windows. I would like to think that the windows don't have the same height as the doors, so if my vantage point is right there, I could go here. I think that I will have like very sparingly windows, so there would be like one window next to each door. Really just a strange train, right? Okay, and then I take the T ruler and line it up, and I have to scoot down my journal a bit. But this is actually as close as it can get to getting the perspective worked into the drawing, so it kind of matches with what I have already on the paper. And there's like no way I think that I would ever be able to sketch this freestyle hand and hit the same proportions, because it looks strange, especially this window that's totally up close. It looks like it's wrong, you know, but it's totally following the line work, so it should be correct. I just think it looks a little bit off, but yeah, that's just me. Okay, next row of windows. Like there, and then I think it's believable that when you sit down in the train, the windows is having this kind of height. And now go in with the ruler once more. I think the reason why that window looks off is because this one is so narrow. Yeah, like, can you see, like, this window here shouldn't be that wide. It should maybe be Lena. Not only you have to think about the perspective lines, but also you have to think about the width of the window that's going to disappear out in the horizon. So the width of the windows should be getting slimmer and slimmer. But this is not going to be a wall piece or any kind of that kind of drawing, so I'm not gonna worry about it, because after all, this is in a practice journal learning more about these perspective lines. Okay, according to my line work, now I should have the best starting point for illustrating the windows and the doors. So I'm thinking that I will go in with some new color tool and make these areas dark and see how it looks. Okay, I've grabbed my new colors, and of course the windows cannot be like black dark, because I got some light reflecting on this train from the windows, imaginary windows up here. So light would be brightening up the windows and the door frames. So I cannot just skip over and make it easy for myself and just make some pitch black door frames. So I need to work back and forth with a light gray and some blue colors to get myself something that looks a bit like a window. And over here I can use less of the light gray and more of a dark warm gray, because this window right here would be in the shadow side. So I'm just pushing back and forth, trying to see if I can hit that special glare that windows gives when they are reflecting some light. And I use a ton of messy strokes to get some sort of a painterly look. This one here is missing. So enough about these doors and windows. Let's see what we can do now. I feel that I can't wait by placing these up here. But before I can do it, I need to work on this area here. I got a quadrant from the sketch lines. I'm thinking, if this train station goes like beyond infinity behind this confection store, then maybe an arch of the train station would come here. But since it's architecture, the arch could actually be anywhere, you know, like it could be like a built-in second floor that has that arch coming from the roof. So I'm not totally bound about the construction of the building itself. I can, if I want to, make a bridge of arches going up here. What do you think about that idea? I think it's a gorgeous idea. So let me use the ruler and see what's 1/3 down this page. How long was this page? It was 34. So 11 centimeters down. Okay. How many times have I said okay on this stream? It's horrible. It's horrible. I kind of hate myself for saying okay all the time. But it is a way of thinking. I will never see that mark because the pattern paper will cover it up. So if I go 11 down, that's around here. That's 1/3 of the paper down. So if I put my ruler on exactly that point, it will give me this line right here. to do what in? Actually, it would be a perfect line to place these, right? Okay, so if we use this line for the placement of the departure and arrival monitors, what then happened if we take another line work above it, like here? Can I picture a roof there? Or maybe those could be for that. Yeah. I would like to build some sort of an arch here. I'm gonna see if I can freehand sketch it, because in a way I just need a basic curve line that goes like this, and then it stops there. So if it starts here, we got a nice curve right there to build ourselves some sort of glass arch with windows inside. I'm thinking like a busy squirrel right now. You see, architecture is not really my forte. Love to look at it, never understood squat about the symmetric line work behind it. But I'm hoping working with composition and perspective lines will open up my eyes, at least, to pay more attention when I'm walking outside. It's like something I need to train. After I started painting and sketching and all that jazz, I kind of noticed how ignorant I have been to a ton of things in our society, especially city construction of buildings, building line works on a harbor, you know, stuff like that. It's just like I took it for, not for granted, but you know, like I never really paid much attention to it. So now I'm enjoying the new gift of having kind of opened eyes when I'm outside walking. We got yellow here, so we should actually pull up that yellow color to the window frames. Doo-doo-doo. It looks more and more like a train station, right? This is fun. Look how it just helps to make the lines super blurry by diluting them with water, so you keep that fuzzy, sketchy look. I think it goes well with this paper pad. window arch. So of course we need to once again figure out what colors these windows are going to be, and then another color for the roof so that it will not be just an arch in the middle of everything. So I biting the apple, took guts to glue down finally these departure arrival monitors, and then I simply just drew this shape right here and then an arch on top of it. I got this swirl thing going on here on the clock, so I have to continue somehow with the same swirl pattern to make it look cohesive. And then I'm like, you know, oh, it looks so easy, just make some swirls, but I am struggling with it a bit. Oh man, I feel like they're going the wrong direction. I'm just swirling along, hoping to get the impression of some ironwork going on there. At least I could make an effort trying to make it somehow symmetric on these ones. So let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Oh man. Swirl, swirl. In the end, it's not going to be the detail that's going to define this piece anyway, so swirls. Oh, let's see when blurring it up a little bit with water if that would help the impression. A little bit. I lost something over there. So believe it or not, I have to go in and re-swirl that one. Yep. We are getting there, people. We're getting there. I think that now I need to add some dark colors, you know, to cast a shadow from this train at least. The question is whether it should be done with watercolor, since it's such a huge area to cast a shadow. I think I would make it a ton easier for myself to do so. So let me go in with watercolor like an umber, and then cast a shadow where I'm having focus on that the top roof of the train is going to make like a cast shadow in. I can actually place the ruler. Isn't it amazing? I can simply freaking place the ruler and see how the shadow will end in the bottom of the cars on the opposite side of the train track. How awesome is that? Definitely, I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now I got the shadow built in, and it's fun to see how it's, I don't know, it just looks different. It gives a lot of texture and patina to the train cars. I really like the decision about making the train cars coated in pattern paper to dress it up like, I don't know, not a regular train car. So now I am thinking about, should I bring in some sort of yellow hue, like a quin gold, to come in as sunlight? It is so tempting. So let me see if I can come in with a very tiny amount of Queen Gold. Not like a sunbeam, but something to warm up this side of the train. So, wish me luck. I came in with a hint of yellow over here, and then casting some warm sun yellow on building watch these and the edge of the train. I think I kind of goofed up on this corner. I liked that it was so bright before, but I'm leaving it because maybe it will grow on me, so I can always change it if it annoys me. But I think I will leave the background for now and now have focus on our real task, which was to use a circular composition somewhere here. So now when we got the background, I can focus on this, right? The golden section, the rule of thirds. So we have like the rule of thirds where we have the page divided. We have worked with those lines, right? We got that in place. So now if we have a triangle with a circle inside, we can use that. So I'm thinking to build my triangle and then have my circle over here, so that whatever I'm painting over here, she will, let's say it's a woman or the stick figure is sitting on the suitcase, so the top of the head and the shoulders will catch the sunlight. I think it would be like the most interesting part to do. And then of course the rest of the background is gonna be a little bit like dead, like there's no people on the train station. But yeah. Oh, I think this is interesting. To avoid drawing on this, I would like to just place my rulers down to get the triangle. So if I place my rulers like this, the lines does not have to go all the way down to this corner here. I need to leave some sort of space down here. So if I move this up like this and remove this one, now I got one side of the triangle eyeballed by placing my ruler here. Now I should actually take a tool and draw myself a circle in this parameter. Exciting! I do want to leave the sketch mark of the circles on this particular drawing because it's a work tool, so it will forever remind me about using this circular composition. The question is how big a circle. If it's this big, well, maybe that's not so bad. Lucky for me, it's very faint. So the pencil line from this is not going to show up much. Okay. So according to the theory about the golden section with composition, I have now managed to find a select area on this page spread where I should place my focal point, my interest. And lucky for me, I got a highlight area here, so it would be natural to have like a really bright light coming right there. So what I have to do now is to somehow sketch out a person sitting on a suitcase, and because I want to emphasize that circular composition, I think I would like the person to have like a curved body, like she or he is resting on the suitcase, maybe looking into a traveler's guidebook or something, so that the curve of the back could be like the curve of the circle. And maybe I will slant the suitcase so that it doesn't go outside the circle. So let me try and sketch that. I think it's possible. But this should actually be the perfect placement for that person. Which is interesting, because let's say that I made this journal spread, or I had this journal spread handed over to me, and somebody said, place a person sitting on a suitcase. I would totally start drawing right here, and then probably end up with placing unconsciously the person in the center of the page. So I'm glad that that I am doing these exercises, so it can give me a different view of how to place my focal points in my drawings. So I don't know if I should split this up into two, because right now it's work hours for me. So I have to start my work day, and I probably would be like really tired when I am finished my work day, and then it's Monday, so I usually quickly get some dinner thrown together, and then I sit and enjoy Janet M. Young's streaming, and she ends her stream about 10 o'clock in the evening, and then after that I simply just go to bed. So I know right now that I will not be able to continue on this drawing the earliest Wednesday, because Tuesday is an awesome stream day for me. A lot of YouTubers are streaming on Tuesday, so it's gonna be a day where I'm lurking while working, watching Kathy, and then after that the other Kathy Arbor stream. So I probably won't be able to continue this drawing on Tuesday. So as you can understand, I may push this to Wednesday or Thursday. So I would rather upload this right now and then come with a part 2 where I'm sketching in and painting the figure, but it shouldn't take long. So thank you for watching if you watched this long. So hopefully see you to part 2. Bye bye.